good, Brendan. How are you?
Very good.
Episode 2, baby.
Episode 2
of Coward Hour.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting so many weird calls at work. I need to. Okay, I told you about the one not on the episode, but I'll repeat it now. I have this call center job, and day one, I go to set up my voicemails on the phone, and there's just already a voicemail there. I'm like, that's weird. No one's had this extension for a while. And I listen to the voicemail, and it's this lady going like, hello, I am in the North Tower of the World Trade Center, which doesn't exist currently.
Not anymore.
Yeah, something happened. I'm not totally sure, but I know that that's not an address anymore. They may have changed the addresses or something. But so she was like, I'm in the North Tower of I was about to say 9/11, but I'm like, no, she didn't. Hey, I'm yeah, that would be
I'm
funny.
in 9/11 right now.
Yeah, that'd be funny if like before 9/11, people just called the buildings 9/11, and then like when it happened, they were like, oh, that's a funny coincidence.
That's
Hold on,
really
let me take a look at these. I think
levels.
Yeah, I think the levels might be just turn the gain just down a tad on both. Yeah. So anyway, there's this insane voicemail of this like schizophrenic woman or time traveler, depending on if this is a magic realism short story.
Yeah.
Which is how I prefer to live my life. I prefer to
Wait. That's what you think magical realism is? You think that what Gabriel Marquez was writing about 9/11 time travelers?
No, but I mean, it's like it's a normal story, and then there's one element that's magic, and then the rest of the world responds to that.
You're right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
I'm
I
not
think you're right.
completely retarded.
I don't know. When I think of magical realism, I just think of two people who are in love, but they live 150 years.
Mhm. Okay, let me just say, magic realism is one of the many things in my brain which I read a Wikipedia synopsis of at 15, and then was just like, oh yes, I know what this is, and then just never actually read the thing.
You have to read
never
Love in the
watched
Time of
movie.
Cholera.
No, I'm not going to do that.
It's very
I read one book a year. I'm not going to read the.
Can I tell
life
you,
that-
you would love Love in the Time of Cholera because it's all about a man who's in love with a woman, and then like he's fickle and makes her wait, and she waits for him while he fucks hundreds of other women, and then they fall back in love at the end, and she's so happy that he spent his entire life getting good at fucking so he could fuck her better. It's a
Wait.
great book.
How was it received at the time?
People loved Love in the Time of Cholera. It's written by a POC.
Damn. I feel like if you publish that now, even though it is very sex positive, which is woke,
But only for the man.
only for the man. Yeah. I don't know. Well, does the woman get to fuck it all, or does she just
gets
like
to-
sit in a room?
Unless I'm misremembering, she gets to fuck him, but she just kind of like spends her whole life sort of like yearning for her lover that she can't be with.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Like my wife is doing now.
Yes. Yeah. Your wife who called you from 9/11.
Yeah, my 9/11 wife. Ooh, she's dead. Ooh, well, that didn't turn out so well. But so anyway, this woman is. She's calling me, and she's like, a plane just hit the tower, and then there was just like a pause, and then it almost felt like one of those like pirate signal like things, like
Yeah.
Yankee Hotel Foxtrot kind of deal, because she just kind of kept like trailing off, and then being like Condoleezza Rice, and then there'd be like some more dead air, and then she would be like. Like George Bush is a powerful man or something. I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah, it got very weird. Like it was clearly a sick person or very
Or-
important.
Or so important.
So important. But yeah, so immediately I'm listening to that and I'm like, well, I need to somehow get a copy of this onto my phone. Obviously. So
You have to. Yeah. Also, like, you must. Did you have the thought where you're like, oh, my life is about to become very important?
yes, I did.
Like,
Because like this is how so many stories happen like this. Like basically I'm just like, oh, I'm Neo.
yeah.
Here I am. I'm in my cube. I get the call. Looks like I'm a hero now.
I do want to say this is the one. Like, I'll have those stories. I'll have those feelings just from like it's probably like mania or something undiagnosed. But like sometimes it'll be a convergence of like I'll see like two foxes in a row, and I'll just be like, maybe this is. It's all about me now. What you're describing is, I think, not an unreasonable
yeah, because
feeling.
that is
for
very
this
weird.
situation. Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like this is the first time that I have dissociated from reality and just believed that I'm in a video game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh. Well, the first time, okay. Have I ever told you how I was on like way too much Concerta for years and years?
No, but I have also done that, and it will do that to you.
Yeah. See, all through like all through grade school and high school, they gave me Concerta because they're like, oh, this kid sucks at school, so we're gonna just give him pills, and then I wouldn't take the pills, and then they, for some reason, they just believed me. They'd be like, "Are you taking them?" I'd be like, "Yeah." I'd be like, "Ah, all right, that sounds good enough. I guess we'll just double the pills because they're not working because
my
he's
God.
telling us the truth." So they did that like 4 times,
God, dude.
and I just kept lying, or I'd put it under my tongue and spit it in the toilet, and then
Oh my God.
I graduate high school, and I go to college, and college is like hard. You can't like even.
I wouldn't know.
Well, this was community college. It was hard for I don't know. College is probably easy if you're not just like a piece of shit. But, high school, you can just kind of sit there and like half listen and remember it for the test. College was not that way for me.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, fuck, I need to start taking this medicine. So then for the first time,
Oh my God, and it was old or no, you still have the prescription.
was it old?
I didn't
Does
know
it
if you
go
just,
bad? Does it get
yeah,
more
it has
or
a
less,
half-life. I don't know if it gets more
or less potent?
I mean, it might just become more unstable. I don't know.
Yeah.
But go on. Tell me.
But
your
anyway,
story.
then I was like 120 pounds, and I think I was taking like 80 milligrams or something.
Mhm.
So I would take that empty stomach first thing every morning.
And then you don't want to eat.
Yeah, then you don't eat. So, it's just Concerta in your stomach. It's just speed. And
Oh my God.
and I think Concerta isn't Adderall is chemically closer to meth, and Concerta is chemically closer to coke.
They're
right?
both. So that was like, I remember when I started doing Concerta recreationally, my first, the first thought, the first time I did a shitload of Concerta, I was like, whoa, this is stronger and lasts longer than cocaine. It's like cocaine that you feel a lot more.
Huh. That's right, because I've heard people who have done both say like Concerta is like coke with a very much worse come down.
It is. It is, but I also think that you feel the thing about doing like those drugs, like Concerta, is like because when the few times I've done coke, I don't feel like I'm on coke, but then like I'm like, oh, I was acting weird, but I don't have a feeling. But when I do like Adderall or Concerta, you get
You're
the
aware you're high.
yeah, you also get kind of like MDMA, like brain tingles.
Okay.
And I like being aware. If I'm gonna be high, I want to be aware that I'm high. Otherwise, I just threw money in the toilet.
Yeah, that makes sense. But anyway, so I would be like, I would just be high all day on Concerta, and I remember just like just coming up with like theories.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
love a good theory. So I remember driving with my friend Ryan, and I was in his car, and I just like we had been like silent for several minutes, and I just turned to him. I was like, "You ever think about how like atoms? It's like, like one atom makes up like a being, which is us. And you ever think that like maybe I'm an atom and I'm part of a larger being, and that's what God is?" And he's just like, "Listen, man, we're going to Wendy's. Like, I don't know what the fuck this. You can't be doing that."
It's the whole thing with Concerta because like you're supposed to take Concerta because like you're supposed to have schoolwork, but like I did not go to college, and I started taking Concerta as I was not going to college. So like when you take Concerta,
What, like do open mics more focused?
no, I would just like what I would do is I would like stay up all night and just like practice like how I would do prison tats. So I would just like draw prison tats like on a piece of paper and be like, one day I'm gonna give myself all of these.
Do you have any tattoos?
No, I have no tattoo. I have no
Yeah.
desire to get tattoos. but-
I almost let like crust punks give me stick and pokes so many times, and I always backed out right at the last second. I'm so happy.
I mean, I've seen one cool stick and poke. My friend Cameron has it. Because it's small. If I got a tattoo, I think I would get a stick and poke.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
I-
know,
'cause it's
we're
just
not gonna
like-
spend money on looking cool.
Yeah, but it's also like I think a lot of tattoos, it's just like it's like, that's so much, that's so loud. I would just like a little outline of a thing. I would like that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
A good pious tattoo.
A good pious, just like a cross somewhere everyone can see it.
That's
like,
what he actually-
like between the eyes, something subtle like that.
Yeah. But that would be cool. But you were we were talking about the 9/11.
Oh yeah, so I got that call, and so I don't know how to function in an office at all. I'm such a weird idiot that I just like I can't have the two personalities anymore. So I just try to be as quiet as possible at work so that no one knows that I'm weird. They'll just think like, oh, he's quiet weird instead of like whatever I have going on.
In a workplace environment, that's a big red flag. You might be giving yourself more problems than you're worth.
I will have to think on this.
Think about that.
Ooh, I will have to puzzle that one over, Nick. But anyway, so my supervisor comes over and she's like, "What are you doing?" Because I've just been intently replaying this voicemail over and over again for like 15 minutes and like taking notes and stuff, and it looks very weird. And I'm like, "Listen to this voicemail," because I forget that like not everyone is like us. So I'm just like,
Yeah, not everyone like 9. It's
not everyone's
crazy
like,
to
"Oh,
me.
great, 9/11. This is so interesting and hilarious." Go.
Yeah, like to us, 9/11 is like hack.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that'll get a laugh. But to most people, it's still, probably like the worst thing that they've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. So so I'm like, listen to this voicemail, and I hand my supervisor the headset, and I just see her face go from like what is it? To eventually just like, oh no. Oh, this is no good. Oh. And then she's like, I'm sorry you had to listen to that. It must be a sick person. We should delete it. And I'm like, no, don't delete it. And she's like, why wouldn't we delete it? And I'm like, I don't know. so she saves it to the voice, and she's just like, all right, whatever, do the loan application. She like walks away.
It's crazy how much like normal people just have like no use for like, because I'm distracted by interesting little hiccups like that in life all the time.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I found a little glass tile in like the woods. How would that get here? What story? And everyone else is just like, no, I'm going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I have to. I've got to feed my family. I don't have time to think about maybe this is a 9/11 time traveler. I'm in charge of you.
Yeah. Most people haven't like delayed adolescence so completely that they have no responsibilities but to feed themselves.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I'm gonna keep doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, but the other call I got today. So this lady calls me because the weird thing about I'm sure that you've experienced, like you were a waiter and stuff. Like sometimes people are just lonely, and you're at your job and you have to be nice to them. So they mistake that for a connection because they have so few real connections in their life that they're like, oh, this must be what friendship is. So this lady calls me and she has like a banking thing to discuss, and I help her. And then she's like, I'm like, is there anything else I can help with? And you can't really just like hang up. You gotta like wait for them to like agree that the call's done. So I'm like, oh, is there anything else I can help you with? And she's like, oh no, I'm just driving around with my cats. I'm like, yeah, okay.
In the car.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, they're running around the car. It's pretty tough.
Well, it sounds like you did that. It sounds like you made that problem.
Yeah,
lady.
yeah. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's tough when you got cats in the car. So and she goes, yeah, we don't have anywhere to live right now.
Oh my god.
Me and the cats, because my apartment building was secretly inoculating us with illegal chemicals.
Oh my god.
You see? So
Wait a minute, hang on. This woman has a bank account?
yeah.
That's crazy. Wait, what was her banking question?
It was something about her credit card. I can't go into too much of that shit.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot. Right.
Yeah, I need to be pretty vague about what this place is. But like basically it's just it is a bank that for whatever reason happens to have a lot of working actors who bank there. But it's not famous people.
It's not famous at all.
they don't like famous people don't call the call center themselves. So it's just like day players, which is just the most fucking nuts demographic of people. Is just like working actors who are like getting by. Their lives must be such stress.
Of course.
They seem so upset.
Well, I'm hung up on this. So she's living. Well, keep telling the story.
Okay, so she's like, yeah, they were inoculating us with illegal chemicals, and I'm just like, oh boy, yeah, that's a real doozy when that happens. Customer service be agreeable, and she's like, yeah, I called the cops, they wouldn't do anything. I went to several lawyers, and none of them will take the case. And I've even tried to contact the media, and they won't help me. And again, I forget that my boss is listening to the call, because I'm like, my instinct is always to egg on crazy people.
Of course.
So I'm just like, yeah, you can't trust the mainstream media to help you. And she's like, I know what you mean. And then my supervisor comes over, and she's like, and is there anything else that I can? And I'm like, is there anything? And she's like, no. I'm like, all right, thank you very much. Have a good day.
That's so crazy. So I just like, so she's living in the car. You don't know how many cats.
Yeah, definitely. There was a hard S on the end of cats.
Yeah.
Definitely plural cats.
And the cats are shitting and pissing in that car.
100%. Can't be a nice car. What model of car, if you had to guess?
I mean, I'm imagining like a sedan. Like I'm not imagining
Like a
maybe
90,
it's like a van.
Like a 92.
Yeah, like a 92, like a
Yeah.
Honda Del Sol or something.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
really shitty like
One
that.
of those like models of car where they only stand out because they don't make them anymore.
Yeah, it was a limited run, and then they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what a bad idea for a car." the Del Sol, basically. But that's so.
How would you feel if like I don't know how cars work, but do you think it's like one guy at the company is like, "Oh, they're giving me my car," and that's like his project for the year, and then they roll out the Aztec and they're like, "Ah, fuck, Gary, Gary, what did you do?"
Yeah, I wish I knew anything about like
Any industry,
any industry at all.
Yeah.
Any real industry.
I don't even know anything about the one that we desperately want to be a part of.
I know a little bit about the entertainment industry.
Mhm.
I know enough. I know all I need to know.
Yeah, you know the secrets.
I know. I know who
Runs it.
I was. Oh man.
What kind of last names do they have?
Well, it's a lot of I was on a slightly unrelated. I was watching this morning. I was watching Before. Have you seen the Richard Linklater films Before Sunrise?
No,
Oh.
I'm so dumb with movies.
Oh, you're done with them?
Dumb.
Oh,
They're unintelligent.
they're really good.
Mhm.
You would like it's
Like every time I watch like a really good smart movie, I'm like, I love this, and I should do this every day,
Yeah.
and then it'll be just Netflix forever.
I deleted my Netflix account to get a Filmstruck account
Mhm.
because I was like, because I am. It's almost like like when I watch a movie, I want to feel a lot
Mhm.
every time, and I'm like,
I love a movie where you walk around for like 3 days with the movie in your head.
yeah. I just like that. I don't know. I can't really. I have a hard time watching movies that like don't make me. Because I think some people like that. Some people want to just like go to a movie and like feel kind of safe that it's gonna be like it's not gonna take any big risks.
Mhm.
But anyway, so I was watching. You should watch it. You'll love it. It's a whole trilogy of like Ethan Hawke and this French girl. They only have a day together, and like they meet each other and they fall in love, and then they have to leave. They have to leave at the end, and it's the '90s, so they have no way of talking to each other, and it's just like it's just a nightmare. And I just
This sounds like what I convince myself is gonna happen every time I leave town.
the credits rolled, and I was like, I want a girlfriend, and I want it now. I was like, it is.
This
and
is an incel podcast.
This is a fucking. No, I mean, but I don't even feel that way right now. I just like when it ended because it's also, of course, it's also showing you. And I also identified way too much with Ethan Hawke in this movie.
Yes.
But it's great because then it's a whole trilogy. Because then in Before Sunrise, in Before Sunset, he goes back. He's an author now. He goes back to Europe, and they do meet again by chance. Then they get together.
Oh
and
my
then,
God.
And then the third one is they're married. And this was not a good way for me to spend 6 hours today. Just like because I also started to think that it was my relationship and I had like done all the work. Like I was just like living in these 3 movies. And then it was kind of like coming out of like a drug binge where like then I was just like kind of sitting like looking at my dirty laundry, like feeling like I had like lived a whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
that's just
God.
where I am.
Yeah, when media gets in your head too much, that's not good. Have you ever heard of the video game Life is Strange?
Yeah, I was actually just looking at it.
Oh yeah, it's right there on the shelf. God, the first time I played that, do you know what it's about at all?
Is it like a walking simulator?
It's a
sort of?
walking simulator, which is I love those games.
Yeah, they're good.
They aren't, but I like them a lot.
I didn't like Everybody's Gone to Rapture, but
No, that one is very bad. But for the most part, I like them a lot. And this one this one isn't just notes and letters and such. This one, you're interacting with other characters and anything. But basically, it's just you're this like 18-year-old photography student at this like gay art school where everybody says emojis in the dialogue, and basically it's like a bunch of middle-aged French men wrote what they assume American teens sound like.
yeah.
And they didn't nail it.
But you love it.
But I love it. Yeah. So you're just like this 18-year-old photography student with like this time travel superpower, and then just like over the course of the game, you're just like, oh, well, I am that girl, and I'm in a lesbian relationship with this other 18-year-old.
You love it.
And and if fate takes her away from me, I will die. So like this game is so ridiculous because there's like not that much gameplay. Like the kind of gameplay it has is just like you wake up and you're in bed together because you had a spooky mystery the night before, and you can either hit X to get out of the bed, or you can just lay there for a while and Bright Eyes plays for like 15 minutes. You just lay there with your girlfriend, like listening to Bright Eyes, and occasionally they like say one or two words to each other, but you're just like, you're just like, and of course this was me. This was like 4 years ago. So I am like brown out drunk, obese, just like
Fat Brendan.
food in my, Fat Brendan. This was a snow day,
Just
so I
like-
didn't have work. I just day drank all day, and then I'm just like watching the teens hold hands, just like
living
this
your
is
better,
me.
your better trans life, like vicariously. This is where This is where like it gets to the point where I genuinely don't know how I feel about this kind of art, though, because on one hand I love that like that's a video game and that it's a video game about like exploring these more abstract emotions, and that's cool, we should be making art like that. But then also it's like what you're using it for is what eventually is like they're going to be mass produced to essentially replace human connect. Like,
Oh no, yeah, you're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, hey, did you hear that season 2 of Girlfriend is out?
it's gonna be just like that. Oh my god, dude! I'm actually very scared of that. Like playing VR when Michael brought it over was like simultaneously the most eye-opening and like it again like a strong drug experience. The minute it was off my head, I was like, I can never have one of these.
Oh yeah, no,
because
I can't
was
have it
so
in my home.
real.
So real. Do you remember the porn? Oh my god, that got out of hand so quickly.
Especially because we didn't calibrate it right, so it was just like I was like when we calibrated it right, it's like, oh cool, like I'm like
girl
in this
sucking my
porn scene.
dick.
But when it wasn't calibrated right, it's just like a giant woman getting ready
It's
to
like,
step on me.
Oh, 100-foot tall woman is sucking my dick.
And I don't know which one's better.
Yeah, truthfully, I mean, it was fine either way.
Yeah.
To be fair. But yeah, I just remember thinking it was going to be so funny, and it isn't. It is not funny at all. Like,
I remember you were on the ground.
yeah.
Because we
Everyone's
thought-
like, oh, it's going to be so funny. All right, Brendan's going to do it. Everybody get out your phones. Everyone watch how hilarious it's going to be.
Because the thing is, like, when you're a kid and like there's like a communal element to like when somebody like you all take out like a Hooters calendar, or even like, you know, when Greg Meyer made me play Rumble Roses XX, and then he would go to the bathroom to jack off while I just stayed there in his living room. It's not a common experience that everyone's had. But there's something about like you all being there. But when you disappear into the matrix of just like tits and pussy,
Yeah, when I put on my K-hole helmet and then just get horny, surrounded by my boys.
and you can only feel like the ghostly presence of your boys like in a circle around
Yeah,
you.
because everyone feels like they're miles and miles
away.
Yeah.
and then we're just watching you like be silent on the ground.
I'm like, this is gonna be so fun. And then just instant.
After 5 minutes, you were just like, get this the fuck off my head.
Well, I remember I put it on my head, and then I just got quiet, and then everyone got uncomfortable, and we had it set up so that you can see what I'm seeing on the TV. So everyone's just like, kind of bummed out now at this point. And the video we were watching, it's like the dude's on a bed getting his dick sucked.
Yep.
So I just like instinctively laid down, like just went down on the ground on my back, just like staring at where my dick would be, like if it was hard.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like hard in my pants. And this is like no longer a bit.
It is weird because like I know that obviously like it's gonna get crazier and crazier where they probably in 20 years it'll be something where like your nerves will react, or so they'll have some sort of like
Yeah.
pressure thing
No, you've been getting the spinal taps in preparation for
when they
for e-girlfriend.
But even in that, like, the power of suggestion was so strong. I remember, like, I felt her hair on my face, and I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, get that off of there.
Oh, you freaked out.
I freaked the fuck out. Well, it's bad, you know, I mean, yeah. Babylon still exists. We just constructed it inside of a computer, and we're all electing to live there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think
That
it's
makes
bad.
sense. 100%. I'm on board. Yeah. I mean, I'll do it again next time it's over.
Yeah,
But it
100%.
is- It is very bad for our brains.
I don't know. I just, like, I was having this.
It's gotta, like, You know how sometimes when you have a really vivid dream, you'll be like about to tell your dream to someone as like an anecdote,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Oh no, I dreamed that. That's not
Yeah.
real. I can't tell this person that." That's gonna happen with VR, where we're just gonna like forget which of our lives is real.
Exactly. No, I'm serious though, and or rather, the one life will become if it feels as much real and is as rewarding, then it will become preferable to real life. I already have that weird thing where like I'll have really really vivid dreams. It's almost like this fucking what I was talking about with the before trilogy, where like, and I'll wake up and I'll feel exhausted from sleeping because like I've literally like the life that I just lived. Sometimes it'll be like a relationship or something, and I'll really wake up like feeling like
Mm-hmm.
that was all like that's
Oh,
part
no.
of my life.
100%. I
But it's
still
just
remember.
it's this thing in the ether that
Yeah.
means nothing.
I still remember a girlfriend that I dreamt when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and I missed her for like weeks.
Yeah.
No?
No, I mean no, I get like I understand the it's never lasted for weeks.
Well, I was a
But
child.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Now I wake up and I'm just like, oh, Bay is gone. Bay is dead. Time to go to work. Oh, dude, it used to happen all the time. We've talked about sleep paralysis before.
Yeah, I
Right?
had it really
Where-
bad once.
Yeah, I would sometimes, because, like, I had sleep paralysis over and over again for so long that it just, like, stopped being scary.
Yeah.
It just became routine. So then eventually
Wow.
I would wake up and my brain, it wouldn't even conjure up the witch or whatever.
The
Yeah.
hag. Yeah.
Yeah, it would. I would just wake up and there would be like big fat guys about to drum on my belly.
That's worse.
It's way worse. Yeah, but then also
That's-
sometimes
that was advanced sleep paralysis.
so advanced. Yeah, no, I got so good at it where like my brain eventually it knew the exact way to hurt me the most, which would be I would wake up, I would have sleep paralysis, I would be laying there, and I would just like look next to me, and it would just be like a beautiful woman there asleep next to me. Everything else in my room is the same. It's just that like I have a wife, and then I close my eyes, and then I open them again, and now I'm awake for real, and she's gone.
Oh my god. that is like reverse psychology, like like extra fucked up sleep paralysis. It's like
Yeah.
my god.
I would so prefer just like, oh no, it's a ghost or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your brain hates you.
It hates me so much,
Hates
Nick.
you so much.
It wants me to be upset so badly.
The one time I had sleep paralysis, it was literally just the person I was in bed with. I turned to them and they had no face, and then I got the exploding head syndrome thing, and then I woke up. And that was it. That was the only thing that like.
Wait, what is exploding head syndrome?
It's where you feel like basically I looked at this faceless thing. It looked like it was shaking, and then it literally felt like there were explosions in my temples, like 100 of them repeated. And it's just like you like go into like full panic mode. And I felt like I was moving my arms, but my arms felt like they were moving, but they weren't moving. So there was like a weird like there weren't visual tracers, but it felt similar to like a tracer effect. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, then I woke up. I haven't.
Was
had
this after acid or before?
This was post acid, not immediately post, but this is after I had done acid.
Okay.
I will still get. Actually, they stopped. I realized like last year, but it used to be if I would look at like digital clocks. No, seriously, the digital clocks used to always dance for me. The numbers would always wiggle and dance, even when I hadn't done acid for like years.
Damn.
Yeah,
And you were saying yesterday that you think a lot of it was like not acid, right?
most of it wasn't that. Well, it's
There like is no real acid.
LSD 25, Hoffman's formula.
Mhm.
The most of the people who were producing that have all been busted by the FBI.
Mhm.
You can still find it. It's just really hard to find it. Mushrooms are a safer bet.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think I'm gonna get some.
It's got to be harder to counterfeit mushrooms.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to. There's no need to counterfeit them because they're easy to grow.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, you have to counterfeit acid because like it's just so complicated to fucking make.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
it's bad acid is such a bummer. It's so bad. It's not.
Yeah.
There have been some lasting effects.
Man, I've never tripped. I'm so bad at weed that I've always just been like terrified.
I don't like weed either. Like weed. Every time I do weed, I feel trapped. Every time I smoke weed, I feel trapped. And even though hallucinogens are definitely a more intense experience, I also feel more in control of myself when I'm on them. But for you, I don't think they'd be a good idea.
No. I don't think I'm supposed to do anything new.
Because I think
Ever.
that you would get addicted to it if you had a good experience. I think you would
holy
be
shit!
like,
Yeah, you're right.
you would be like me because I just like did hallucinogens with like no, like I didn't even have like bad come downs. I did have a lot of really bad trips later, but I just thought, I was like, oh my God, it's like you eat magic and then life is magic for 20 hours and you can do whatever you want, and like and all that. And I was doing a lot, but I got so addicted to those good experiences that even when it started just pretty much being bad all the time, I was like, maybe it'll be good this time, and then and maybe I should take more than I've ever taken, and that'll make it good. No.
Damn, you just described quitting drinking for me.
Yeah.
It's exactly how
So-
it was. Yeah, and then you were talking about like you would do it every weekend. Like I
Yeah.
love a nice routine with substances. I love to be like, oh, this is the day where I put this in my body.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad, but it's
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
it's really fun.
I'm sure. One time, and I'm gonna say it's gonna sound like this is something I normally do, and it isn't. But I was at a fish show, which I would not ordinarily do. But
Even though I'm looking at a poster on your back wall, that's not
Ah.
fish,
hey,
but
that's Grateful Dead. Don't
wow,
don't
okay.
bully me.
I'm not bullying you. It's okay to like the Grateful Dead. I just wish they would play the songs as long as they were on the album because Keep on Truckin' doesn't need to be 22 minutes long.
But it does.
No. I feel that way about Whipping Post by the Allman Brothers Band, and that's the only song that I like to be longer.
You don't like a nice long Dark Star?
I don't know. Here's the thing. I understand the thing about jam bands because I like.
Do you like you like jazz?
I like jazz and I like psychedelic rock, and a lot of psychedelic rock bands apply the same principle where it's like we're gonna take a 6-minute song and we're gonna make it 20 minutes. But I like it more when it sounds like shredding, and like
Yeah.
I don't like the
Just like spooky tones.
yeah, I don't like how the bass sounds in jam bands. I think it's a little too jaunty for me.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I was at this fish show. I was 18, and it was a very bad time. So me and my friends Jack and Leah, we had all like just started smoking weed. So we're driving to Hershey Park to see fish, and we smoke in the car, and we're all very new to it. So we all like get high, but like not high enough that like fish is fun, just high enough that like it's a little bit like high enough just to feel anxious,
Yeah.
basically. So that happens. We're all 18 years old. We went to like a nice high school, don't really know anything about like drugs or anything. We get out of the car. We park in the car next to us. There's a guy who looked exactly like Artie Lange, handcuffed over the hood, and on the hood is just a giant bag of white powder, and
Oh,
the
wow.
cops are like arresting him. So we're like just high enough that we're scared, and we get out, and we see that. We're like, all right, time to have fun. And then we go into the show, and there's this dude in front of, I think he was on like Research Count, some weird shit. But he starts turning to us and like looking really mad, and then like turning back. And then he like, so we like move a couple rows back, and then he turns and he sees this dude who's standing there. And he just starts with only one arm, just like punching that guy over and over
Oh my God.
for like 20-second spurts. And then he just passes out like on the bleachers, like falls down, hits his head really hard and everything. And everyone like backs up. And then like a minute goes by, and then he jumps back up, and like he just hates that guy for some reason. He's like a
Jesus.
stranger, just like runs back at him and starts punching him again. And now his buddy is like trying to be like, everything's cool, like beating up his own friend. He's like, nah, it's all good. Just like giving him a lasting concussion forever.
Oh my God.
Like, no one calls security. It's cool. Just like fucking stop.
Like turning to you guys as he's like,
yeah. He's like, oh, he
Jesus.
had too much.
he needs to be good.
Yeah, just like now he's like bleeding, like a tooth falls out.
Holy
It's
shit.
terrifying. And then finally, like the cops come. He has like PCP strength or some shit, and the cops are like, because he's fighting in spurts. He'll go ragdoll and unconscious, and they'll start to take him out, and then he'll wake
then he'll
up
get
again,
up and
and he's stronger than everyone. And finally, they're dragging him away, and he turns, looks in my eyes, and yells, "Call the cops!" And then, like, the band started.
That rules.
So we're just like, this is a fun time. I love I love counterculture. I'm 17.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I see. I couldn't imagine weed would make that the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how I'd feel about that if I was on mushrooms and I saw that though. I probably still wouldn't like it. That's really funny.
I would probably. I think I would try to fight him. I would forget I'm small.
If you're on mushrooms,
Maybe.
no,
I
you
don't
realize how small you truly were.
know. Ooh. Well, I don't want that. So I'm pretty dang small, Nick.
You're like, you would be like, oh, I mean, I knew I was short, but now I see how small I am, like in the context of the unit. You would, you've like,
Yeah, I would
You would
leave
have
my
never
bo-
been
I would
small.
astral project into someone else's form and then look at me from
And
like
just
a
be like-
normal man's.
and then you
like,
truly
height.
realize how small and pathetic you are.
Damn, I feel bad.
It's okay.
What's it like to be normal sized?
I'm not even. I mean, I guess I am. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm 5'11", 5'11 and a half.
All right.
I
I think average is like 5'9".
don't know. What do you think that it's like?
Uh,
How tall are you? You're
5'2".
You're 5'2".
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were 5'4".
No, that's my lie height for online dating.
Oh, right.
I say 5'4" so they know I'm short, but then I'm actually 5'2".
Yeah, because at that point they're like, it's probably they've already.
At that point,
gone
they're
in.
like in, but like 5'2" looks so bad on paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Five. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
No, what do you think?
So basically, it's like it's only short girls who are like swiping me.
That's good, except
Which
for
is
that one.
fine.
Except for the one giantess.
Yeah, but she did not message me back.
Ooh.
She swiped me right. Her profile said like I'm 6'2". I don't care how tall or short you are.
Mhm.
I tested that theory.
Well, wait.
and-
What did you say to her?
I just said like, "Hey, how's your day going?" or something. I didn't say anything weird for that one because sometimes I get bored and I say weird things and then I'm like, that girl was hot and I
Yeah,
shouldn't
you
have-
did that to the one very hot girl, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that was a mistake. I think on some level I don't actually want to fuck.
Yeah, I get that.
Mm-hmm. Because every time I do fuck, it doesn't make me happy.
No, it's funny. It's a good realization to have though, because there was definitely a point in my life when I was just compulsively having sex, just because I knew I could have sex with a person, and I still had like the high school of just like, well, I gotta be getting laid or else I'm not.
I got to get the number up
I gotta get the
so
number
that
up.
I can impress other men.
My number's good, but like I don't need to be at it. We're also reaching the point where like, who are we talking about our number with? Also, my
Yeah.
number's good.
I'm
Like,
sure.
My
What is
numbers
it?
are.
Go ahead and say it
I
on the
really
air.
don't want to do that on the podcast.
12.
I don't want to do that, man.
What? You're just gonna leave me
Because
hanging?
it's very. I think it's like to even worry about it is like.
Mhm.
We both have probably fucked more than our dads, which is all a man can hope for. That's all you can hope for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. If I had to speculate on how many women my dad's fucked, I would have no idea.
I think. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to emasculate my dad on the podcast. I love my dad.
Which
my
of our
dad's-
dads do you think would be more likely to listen to
My
this?
dad's way. I mean, my dad might listen to this.
Your grandpa might.
I don't know if my grandpa will.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa, he wouldn't. He wouldn't relate to a lot of this. He would think it was fucking gay.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it is
it
gay.
is so gay.
Very.
I mean, my dad is like more. That's the weird thing is like my dad is more of a man than I'll probably ever be, but I've just like fucked more than him. Just because like in the sexual permissiveness of the modern age encourages all these fey young.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
that's
literally-
the point I've been trying to make.
Like,
'Cause, like,
acting gay got me more laid than I think if I had been like a true man.
mm-hmm.
Just
Well,
acting
it's
kind of
that,
gay.
and then also like I have a lot of bits about fucking, and it comes across weird, but like the whole point of this is like, no, we live in a hell where anyone can do this because
Yeah.
the internet has ruined dating to the point where it's just like this impersonal nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's not impressive to fuck a lot. It just means that like you paid Tinder to show your picture to more people.
Yeah, dude, it's like, okay, to go back to Before Sunrise, even like the way in 1995, the way Ethan Hawke and this girl meet, it's just because they're on the train together, and like a German couple is like having an argument, so she moves to the seat across from him, and because there's nothing else to do, they start. And again, I understand this is a movie, but also
But yeah, no one's looking at their phone. So
no
you
one's
can
looking at their
talk-
phone. Like they have to talk to each other. Like even just like all the shots of just like people in Vienna, just at a cafe, just like, and what they're doing is they're eating their scone,
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just, and you know, the
Yeah.
music in the streets.
Yeah, you ever have your phone die and then you just like live your day?
Well, so I get that because I used to be so poor that I just like couldn't pay my phone bill. So like my phone would just be shut off for like 20 out of the 28 days of the month.
So you'd be like sitting in like a park, just like looking around, like, ooh, can't wait for my story to start.
Yeah, well, no, I mean it was literally. Well, I was like, my phone would be dead, and I was also like homeless at this time. So like I was just
Yeah.
like experiencing the world.
By the way, congrats on your home.
I have a
your
home
new
now.
home.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a great home.
Mhm.
I love the people I live with. We have some philosophical disagreements, but that doesn't matter. I have four walls.
You have
and a
different
bed.
opinions on who controls this industry.
Who controls, and they're for it because they're. No, I can't be doing this. I can't be doing this 2 episodes in.
No, keep your ideas close to the vest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
This
yeah,
is
no,
a,
but
if anyone is listening to this and they're wondering, where do these guys lean politically? Look in your heart. Whatever opinions are there, mirrored in our hearts.
yeah,
I'll tell you.
we're both reasonable people.
Mm-hmm. I mean, more it's just like whatever fringe thing you happen to believe, whichever side it is, that's us too.
Me too.
You know?
Hashtag me. Hashtag us also.
Hashtag us as also as well. Me in addition to yourself.
Yeah. But but no, I will say, like, part of the, you know, one of the things I enjoy about being poor, and if I ever, I mean, I have money right now, and I'm not gonna get a new phone. I'm not gonna change, because I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, if
really,
you upgrade one part of your life, then you feel like you have to upgrade other parts, and then
No, but I don't want to do that. I also I honestly I would like to fucking get rid of my smartphone. Part of the reason why I have a smartphone is because I don't have a computer right now. And when I get a computer, I'm like, I might just get a fucking flip phone because maybe I just romanticize it.
I mean,
because it's
a lot of people say this, and then they do it, and then they're like, "Oh no, you do need to be able to like read your emails during the day, like
I know.
if you're trying to like do shit."
Well, then maybe I'll just stick with the 5 because I still can't like do anything crazy on it. It's basically just like an email machine. I can barely use Facebook on it because the app is so new. But I like that. I don't like.
Yeah, no, I mean, like looking at Facebook all day is such a fucking pit. Like I unfollowed everyone, and now I'll just like look up individual random like comics from Philly and just be like, oh, what's their Facebook like? And certain people are just like losing their minds because all they read is like other comedians' Facebooks, and it makes you so sick.
Dude, it's crazy because I remember back when I was like, I remember being we were all so into Facebook in like 2013, 2014. I would like post multiple times a day. I cared, like all my posts were jokes and I cared how much likes I get. I'll post on Facebook maybe like once every 3 months. And when I think about how much Facebook was my life and also how like it was just like comics, like incestuously, like.
Yeah, you're performing for your friends, which is the grossest thing you can do.
And there are a bunch of comics who are like still doing that. I'm like, whoa, what a strange life that I like participated in. But now and a lot of the people are older than me, and I'm just like, I just associate that with like fucking being 15 now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think like when you're in it, you're like, oh, I'm like Metzger. You know, everybody wants to read my like takes on Facebook.
Yeah,
and
but
stuff.
Yeah, but
It didn't work out for him.
No, not at all. and honestly, you go back and you read some of that, it's like, all right, come on, it's just.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Twitter because people I know for the most part don't really follow me. It's just like people who came across it and they're like, oh, this guy's funny. And then I don't want other comics that I know to like read my online presence. It's not for them.
The social aspect of Twitter is like just enough. I think it's not.
Yeah, and you can mute.
It's so weird that Facebook has like literally become, because it was. I remember when we all started getting on Facebook, it was this thing that like parents didn't understand, and now it's like literally like for parents and grandparents, and like they're sharing memes. Like everything is so.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you post in like your online voice, and your grandma like calls you, and she's like, "Are you okay? What's going on?"
It's so fucking weird. But even just the way like that, like fringe culture has like entered the fold of like mainstream. Like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I was thinking about this the other day because like I remember like when memes became mainstream, the whole thing was like, well, they're not really memes; they're image macros, and like this was like a point of.
God,
do you remember this?
I remember when that argument
right
mattered.
It's like normie memes are image macros, but now like the popular like perception of what a meme is actually like true memes, just like absurd images that circulate the web that are kind of like without context. And like
Man, it's crazy
my
how
mom shares
yeah,
them.
how quickly we've accepted. Like I remember being like memes are dumb. They're the death of comedy. And then now, like as a comedian, sometimes you're like, oh, this company wants pitches for memes, and they're like paying people to make memes.
Dude, it's so insane.
And I don't even question anymore. I'm just like, oh yeah, okay.
I don't know. I hate it. I really hate the internet.
Mhm.
It was never supposed to be like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now it's just all like no one types in websites anymore.
It's Facebook.
Yeah, so it's just what Facebook and Twitter like want to show people with the algorithms and everything, and
It's worse. It's absolutely worse.
yeah,
Like
that's where I get into my true conspiracy theories. Is when I'm like, the internet only wants to show a certain kind of jokes.
Oh, you're just mad because they're not your articles don't don't get the traffic that you want.
I mean, my articles do fine, like in comparison to the other things
Oh,
on
really?
the site. The site as a whole got cut like 6 months ago or something. Facebook was just like, oh, and your traffic, we're cutting 2/3 of it. So the Hard Times just like doesn't get anything. I'm just a contributing writer. I don't mean to talk like this is my website or anything.
No, of course, but it's just like it's fucked because again, like as they're like they've provided a but the platform is like basically a public service. It's almost as unethical as service providers like deliberately slowing internet service for people who aren't paying like a premium
It's exactly
price.
the same. Or if I was like if I was the phone company
Right.
and I knew that like and it was like, oh, Brendan and Nick are gonna call each other. Well, that can't be good. So let's make the phone call slow.
Jesus. Yeah, it is because but then like that's the gray area because like I mean actually I don't know, I'm probably for actually regulations of like mega corporations if I really think I'm sure it's absolutely not a bad thing.
I have no
at
idea
all.
what my politics are on any issue anymore.
Well, I'm like literally I think we were talking about this like this is the first time in history where like society has created people who are like fiscally liberal and socially conservative, which is what I feel like I am. And also and not even to the like people can do whatever they want. You
it's
know?
more like the things that we're conservative on aren't legislative issues.
Yeah.
Like you think like what is everybody arguing with about now? Like there's no bill to cancel Roseanne. Like we're not gonna go vote and there's gonna be like a ballot measure on if a poo is funny.
Yeah.
None of this is
Exactly.
politics.
Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not really politics.
It's
And
not at all.
so yeah, I guess just like my barometer like for what I find offensive in society, and sure maybe it's a product of colonialism and I'm an evil white man, which is fine. I love being evil. I've always liked villains more.
Being evil is good.
I always loved getting cast as the villain in in the middle school plays. I was the cat in Honk. The play.
I was Greylag in Honk.
Oh yeah, I was. You
Yeah.
know,
I was a damn goose.
I was I was actually pretty great as the cat. I love that play.
Yeah.
The ducks who love each other. It's nice.
My senior year, I was the lead in Into the Woods because Into the Woods is the only musical where the lead is a short man who's cucked. It's the only musical I could be the lead in.
They explain that to you.
Yeah, they sat me down. They're like, "Brendan, do you know what a cuck is?" And this was 2009, so I was like, "No." And they're like, "Well, it's gonna be big."
Oh God, I actually have an insane story about Honk.
Go on.
It's so crazy, and nobody believes me because I don't want to use the kid's name, but the lead guy in Honk, because we were arguably had like the two biggest parts, and so there was this thing like, and I was younger, like I was in 6th or 7th grade, and I had like a main part, which was like a big deal to all the fucking theater kids.
Yeah, all the theater girls.
Yeah, and so this kid Andrew, this boy didn't have a name. I couldn't remember his name for the life of me. And he was in a relationship with this girl Noelle. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. But the night before the thing, he like
Well, why'd you say her name?
it doesn't matter. Who cares?
she
It doesn't
matter
matter.
less?
Nobody is going to listen to this. She does matter less in the context of this story. They're not going to listen to this. Is what I meant to say. So he said, "Hey, it's our opening night. Like we have to do something together. It's really special." And he's like, he brought in like Hustler and Playboy magazines, and he was hiding them in the front of his giant duck costume. And he was actually, because he couldn't keep them in the dressing room, so like that night, throughout the whole night, like whenever he was on stage, he was actually had 2 like nudie magazines, just two porn rags like in the costume for the whole performance. But so before the show, we went to the bathroom. He gave me one, and he took one for himself. He's like, all right, now you go into that stall, and I'm gonna go into this stall, and you just use it. And by the way, I was not masturbating yet. I like hadn't figured it out yet.
How old was this?
I was 12, I think.
11
or 12. And so so I'm in one stall looking at it, and he's in the other stall looking at his, and I'm just looking at it. I don't know what to do. And he goes, well, what are you doing in there? I'm like, I don't know. I'm looking at it. He's like, no, you got to use it. Are you using it? So I didn't know. And so after a while, I was like, yeah, I'm using it. And I didn't really know what was going on. And so then after like 10 minutes, I was like, I think I'm done looking at this. And he was like, okay, let's go back to the dressing room. But,
Damn.
But then in high school, he came out of the closet. So now I understand what was going on.
What a strange way to go about it. Like, I know what will make Nick gay like I am, is if we both jack off to women.
Well, I think that was him dipping a toe in. He was having a sexual experience.
Oh, he was grooming you. Like a
Sort of.
pedophile.
Yeah, well, he was a year older than me.
Yeah, he was like you were like co-pedophiles.
But what's crazy about that story is like I've told that story to people like who are like, and it's ultimately harmless, right? He didn't do anything. And like my friends who were in like, cause I like in high school, after he came out, I was like, that's so weird because I had this thing, and even then, like my classmates were like, no, you must be confused. Like they were just immediately like taking his side, and I was like, no, I mean that's a pretty.
Were they like, no, it's homophobic for us to be like?
They just didn't believe me.
Huh?
It was
That's
so
very
vivid.
strange. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a. Honk was also when I touched boobs for the first time. I got and God,
Theater kid sexuality is weird.
it is, and
I think what you were saying. I think that's kind of a thing because I remember in my high school, there would be one night like there'd be like traditions that had been going on for like who knows how long, and one of them was free love night, which is like a very
excuse me.
It's a very cringy thing to look back on, but. Like, everyone knew that, like, the Friday in the run was that, and that you were supposed to, like, hook up or something, but no one would, because it was all, like, all the theater girls at our school were religious, so every time I talk to someone about being, like, a theater kid, they're like, oh, and you all fucked, right? I'm like, no, none of us fucked.
Oh.
So, like, everyone would just, like, make out, and then if there was, like, a prop that would go out on stage that, like, people would be standing behind, people would just, like, print out a photo of an ass and like tape it to the piece of the set, so then you'd be on stage singing and just like you'd see an ass.
That rules. That's really funny.
Yeah, I guess other schools didn't do that probably.
No, I mean like nothing like that. We were definitely like hooking up with each other.
Yeah,
it is funny though because like as I was hooking up with people in middle school but I still like really didn't know I could do anything with my dick. So and this girl, she was beautiful. This is like how stupid I always will throughout my whole life. I'll kind of like get with girls who are way out of my league and then like not appreciate them, and it's not until months later I'm like, oh. But yeah, she wanted to be my girlfriend really bad. She like showed me her boobs. I was in 7th grade, all this stuff. It was great. I thought it was
she just isolated of anything else showed you her boobs.
Yeah. It was awesome, and she like wanted to be my girlfriend, but like
Yeah.
she would call me on the weekends, and she would just like tell me really like inane things, like she was like Windexing a cricket on her door, and it really irritated me because I was like, I'm trying to play, Super Mario Advance 2, Super Mario World. That was where all my priorities were, and so I just like. She would call the house and I would just like hang up on her and like ignore it. And then, and we didn't really ride the same bus. So then like literally like 3 months later, I just like saw her in the hall, and she was I think she was in 6th grade. I think, or maybe I can't remember. There was a grade difference. So we weren't in each other's classes either. And I saw her and I was like, oh, hey. And then I was like, hey, weird question. Are we still dating? And then she just burst into tears and went the opposite direction of the way that she was going.
Damn, you should say that to a woman now.
After ignoring her for 3 months, or like,
yeah, just like ask a girl like, hey, are we still dating? Like just some Tinder girl.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
Open like that?
No, not open like that, but just like
A girl who
just like a girl who like things fell apart with or ghosted.
Oh man.
Just like I've always wanted to do that, like a girl who like clearly were just hooking up.
Yeah.
Just sit her down and be like I wanted to do this to this girl who I was like years ago. I was like super into her, and she just like didn't like me at all. We had sex once, and I fucked her so badly that we never had sex again, even though she slept in my bed like 6 more times. Very embarrassing to look back.
Oh, that sucks for you.
But
man.
I wanted to be like, listen, it's over, and she'd be like, oh no, I never think about what.
Yeah.
like what's over.
Jesus, that sucks.
Yeah.
I had that with.
I had this fantasy of doing that and like somehow flipping the tables and her like being into me again. But now looking back on, it, I'm like, oh no, that would have just made things so much worse. Yeah, like that was an unwinnable situation.
I've definitely. Oh man, I definitely like. When I don't want to talk about the times I've manipulated women. It's easier when you're like 19. It's bad to do. It is. I will concede that it's bad to do. But Isaac remembers this. I was dating this girl when we lived at the old place from USC, and I just like had it in my head that like she wasn't living up to like my past, and like I thought she was perfect.
You're like, oh, this isn't the wife that lives in my mind at all times.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But she was perfectly nice, but like maybe I was also guarded from past relationships. So like I was just like kind of like keeping her at arm's length, but then was also like slowly actually really developing emotions for her because like but of course what was happening was like I was being distant over the course of 3 months and then deciding that actually she was worth it, and she was just kind of being treated poorly. So and then I guess to her out of the blue one day I was like hey, I really really like you and I'm glad that we're in this, and then like I got a text like 2 days later just like, hey yeah Nick, sorry I just got this, I've been out of town, I like you too, I want to hang out, but I don't really think that we're like ever going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was like, and like immediately, like after I got the no, then suddenly like I just like I found myself on Instagram looking at pictures of her that I had seen 100 times before, but suddenly I was like, oh, she's so beautiful, isn't she? I was like, I guess I didn't see how nice her face was until she rejected me.
Oh God, yeah, a girl like classily letting you down.
Yeah.
Is the most. It's so much worse than ghosting.
And like because it's fucked up because like Isaac met her, and like the one night after, like because we were at the old house together, he was like, hey man, that girl you're with is really beautiful. I was like, nah, she's okay. and then after we broke up, I was just like hanging out with Isaac. I was like, man, Lauren was really beautiful, huh? He's like, yeah, man. I was telling you that. I was like, well, I didn't know. I was having a bad time.
It's not my fault. I perceive reality wrong.
Completely incorrectly.
Yeah, any situation with... I don't think I've ever, like, had a conversation with a woman and then left correct about how it went.
At all, ever.
Yeah.
That's a woke thing to admit.
It is, you know? That's the thing about me, is that I'm such an ally that I don't talk to women at all.
At all.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
I'm such a feminist that I'm like, I'm going to let them be over there, you know? With their rights and such. I'm going to let them do their little thing separate from my entire life.
I have a back to Africa stance with women. I think that white men are naturally predatory, and the only way to keep them safe is to just give them their own country.
I know.
But
yeah. And which country would that be? Honestly, I think we should give women Israel.
They would do great. They would do great.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, no one's using it.
No one's really. It doesn't belong to anyone.
It's pretty free right now. You know. Like if we gave women, specifically the Gaza Strip, if we just filled it with all the women in the world.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, come on, develop this. I'm not. I mean, look, I'm not going to add anything to this, but I will support you.
You know, if say women had like their settlements, you know, just like, and they were there, I think that would be good.
Yeah. And the men are over here just achieving. Just building monuments. We just build 3 Eiffel Towers, each one bigger than the last.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just doing difficult math.
Yeah.
Over here.
We build 6 twin towers. Just like, wow, nobody even... I got so much done! Nobody asked me how I thought about something that didn't matter. Oh, God.
All right.
You
want to call this?
Yeah, let's call it. We don't have to leave all that.
Only time I give a fuck is for my own release. That's why I own these streets. Straight up portfolio showing growth. Fuck a pay cut. Yeah, you know I stay slut. Catch me in the spot, looping up for the self suck. Oh fuck, I busted already. I'm coming bucket so heavy. My dream of cream coming steady. Now my mouth open, I'm ready. I'm talking solo heavy petting on a Friday night. That talking bashing the bishop more like Nantucket's delight. I'm taking all the time I need to do it just